Dear brothers and sisters, there was a power outage, and so unfortunately our broadcast got cut in half. So I will go ahead and finish the second portion of it now. Chapter 504. Tensions in Spiritual Direction. Question from a brother monk. If one happens to live with an elder who is unable to respond to questions when the brother is in fact troubled by thoughts, should one ask another elder, whether with or without the knowledge of one's own elder, or should one endure and be crushed by one's thoughts? Response by St. Barsanuphius the Great. If one knows that one's Abba will benefit the soul, one should confide in him, saying, I have thoughts, what do you think that I should do? The elder, like someone who is an ill child and hurries to take it to a doctor, in fact, even spending all of his income to care for this child, will also gladly take his disciple to someone with a gift of healing, or else send him to find someone else. If one knows that the elder cannot endure this, then he should not say anything, but simply look for an opportunity when God will provide an occasion to ask another spiritual elder about one's thoughts, entreating him not to inform his own elder, because this would throw him into the passion of envy. This, of course, will create great affliction, inasmuch as one is asking another elder while not being scandalized in one's own elder for not possessing such a gift. For such a gift is not given to everyone. Nevertheless, if one searches carefully, one will discover that one's own elder has another gift. For the gifts of the Spirit are diverse and distributed variously among people, to one in such a manner, while to another in a different manner. Now, if one does not find the opportunity to ask someone else, then one should endure, praying to God for assistance. In this particular case, what we see as very beneficial, I think, personally, is the consideration by both the brother who is asking the question and also Saint Barsanuphius, who is giving the response, in saying that if one's elder, let's say, in this case, you could say one's parish priest is not able to answer a question, or one's even confessor, not able to answer a question, or maybe not able to assist in struggle with thoughts. Now, if he is mature enough, he himself will instruct the spiritual child, or sort of the disciple in the case of monastics, to seek answer elsewhere. And of course, if he is the kind that would be tempted, and the child, the disciple knows that, if the elder does not offer an opportunity to get counsel elsewhere, then of course what Saint Barsanuphius is saying is, look for an occasion to ask someone without tempting your own elder. So if you need to ask questions of another priest, yes, go ahead and ask, realizing that your priest might have a different gift. He might not be equipped to help you with your particular temptation, but that doesn't mean he's entirely not gifted at all. And Saint Barsanuphius quotes Saint Paul, who says, some God gave to church as apostles, others as sort of preachers, others as teachers, others as healers, and so on. And so, and some as evangelists, I think. And so, most certainly, the focus of St. Barsanuphius' reply is that one must find a solution without causing a temptation, without causing scandal for himself, or for oneself, so to speak, or for one's elder, one's priest, one confessor. Imagine how your parish priest would feel if you asked him a question, he gave you an answer, you weren't satisfied, and then you asked someone else, and then you came back and you threw it essentially in the face of your parish priest and said, well, I asked so and this is what he told me. And so this way you are inciting the two priests perhaps to have conflict, because one, wasn't able to answer your question, and the other now is sort of quoted as an authority. But then also you are causing unnecessary angst for yourself. And notably, he says, if asking someone else does not present itself, if you don't have an opportunity to ask without there being a temptation, then you must persevere and God will help you. And so I think that if I were to summarize his answer, he says that if your elder, if your confessor, if your parish priest, you might say, is unable, you asked him, you sought his advice, and he was not able to give you the necessary counsel, you may ask someone else, but do that in such a way so as not to tempt yourself, not to tempt the other person you're asking, and most certainly not to tempt the person who is bearing the responsibility for you by either being your confessor or even your parish priest. Still, he's responsible for you. So in that sense, and perhaps maybe if you have a healthy enough relationship, you can approach your parish priest and then say, I heard another priest say that in this situation, perhaps this is the way to sort of behave and resolve. And you could say, what do you think of that? And hopefully your parish priest will say, yes, that's a wonderful thing. And if for whatever reason he says, no, that's not a good thing, then at least allow him an opportunity to explain himself. And it could very well be that he is in fact protecting you from someone else's bad counsel. And it could be your parish priest or your elder would be right, in fact, to tell you not to follow the advice you were given by someone else. And so in this case, yes, I can quickly share with all of us the story from, I believe it was in the Lives of the Desert Fathers, or maybe in the Spiritual Meadow, where a young monk who was living in reclusion, and he went and he asked St. Piman the Great about the thought that troubled him, suggesting that he leave his reclusion and go and join sort of a cenobitic, a communal, so to speak, monastery where he would be of more benefit to the brothers. And so St. Piman said to him, sleep as much as you want, eat as much as you want. I think he said drink as much as you want. Whatever you do, don't leave your cell, stay put. And so the young monk was surprised by such counsel. So he went and he asked 3 other holy fathers who were also great. I think St. John Colavus was one of them. I think Arsenius the Great was another. And maybe St. Pombo. I can't remember whom he asked last. But when he asked the 4th father, he said, 3 fathers gave me, and the 3 previous ones pretty much gave him the same advice. Eat as you want, drink as you want, sleep as much as you want. Just don't leave your cell, stay put. And so the 4th father, he said, I'm bewildered by their advice. Why would they say such a thing? And the 4th father said, they gave you the right advice, the right counsel. Go and fulfill it and have no care about the fact that they are telling you not to be strict on yourself. And of course, the reason for that was that the struggle not to leave his cell was so great that if he had spent his strength on extra fasting and extra prayers and so on, he would most definitely break and leave his cell. And that's why all 4 great holy fathers gave him essentially the same advice. Stay put, take it easy, but don't leave. Whatever you do, don't leave. Now, he asked one, wasn't sure, asked another, wasn't sure, asked another. And it was only the 4th time that he accepted the counsel that he was given and sort of went on to follow it. And so in the same way, we must be careful. We definitely shouldn't be running looking for gurus and sort of making attempts thus to rid ourselves of responsibility for our actions. That is definitely not a good way to lead one's spiritual life. At the same time, it wouldn't be prudent and it wouldn't be wise to antagonize one's own confessor or parish priest by constantly going to yet another authority, especially authority that's outside the parish. And I would so much so say that you must understand this particular paragraph, this chapter that we just read, addressed a monk asking about his own struggle with his own personal thoughts. He's not asking about the way that his elder sort of manages his little monastery skete or his cell. He's talking about thoughts that are troubling him, and if his elder is not able to help him, what should he do? And of course, he's instructed to seek further counsel. We should never try to undermine the responsibility, sort of the authority, the leadership of the parish priest, especially the rector, by seeking counsel from outside and then presenting it to the rector as an argument. Now, if you sincerely believe that your spiritual father, your confessor, your parish priest is doing something wrong, well, if it's your place to correct him, because in some ways it may be and in some it may not be. If it pertains to his own life, and it doesn't affect anyone else, that may be best left for his confessor. If it's affecting the whole parish or if it's affecting other people and you are witnessing the consequences, yes, you may want to go and say, Father, I really need to speak to you, and maybe express your opinion and allow the priest to respond, but then leave it at that. I think that bringing someone else as an authority, no priest in his right mind would ever provide you with a quote, so to speak, to take to their parish priest and then use it sort of as a weapon in a power struggle or something like that. So we must have a clear and good understanding of what Saint Barsanuphius meant when he said, yes, when it's a matter affecting you spiritually and your elder, your confessor, your parish priest is unable to help you, just like if you have a family doctor and you have an issue, and in fact he says any good doctor, any good parent would immediately, even at a great expense, take his child to the person capable of healing the child. And so your parish priest, if unable to address the issue himself, should in fact refer you to the proper, either more experienced priest or in some cases, maybe even to a doctor or a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist, depending on your situation. There is no shame in admitting one's own limitations. But one should not use this chapter as an excuse to sort of weaponize another priest's opinion against his own priest or against his confessor. That's what I think we should take away from this. O Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, through the prayers of the Most High Mother of our holy and God-bearing fathers, Barsanuphius the Great and John the Prophet, have mercy on us and save us. Amen. God bless you, dear brothers and sisters. Please pray for me, a sinner, and God willing, we will continue tomorrow.